Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something fundamental, something that holds the potential to transform your life, your character, and your very future. It's the principle of forcing yourself to get it done. And no, this isn't some superficial pep talk or a hollow affirmation. It's the hard truth that success demands discipline, grit, and the willingness to do what's necessary, even when every fiber of your being wants to resist. Here's the thing. Life is brutally indifferent. It doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, or how you feel in the moment. What it rewards, unequivocally, is action. When you set a goal, you have a choice to act in the direction of that goal or to falter. And let me be very clear, the path forward is never going to feel easy. It's not supposed to. If it were, everyone would be remarkable, and mediocrity wouldn't exist. You see, within each of us lies a constant battle. On one side, there's the part of you that craves comfort, that whispers in your ear, "You've done enough," or "Tomorrow will be a better time to start." And on the other side is something far deeper, far nobler, the part of you that yearns to fulfill your potential. That part knows the value of effort, the dignity of perseverance, and the pride that comes from accomplishment. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment to act. You'll never feel fully ready, and the conditions will never align perfectly. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a train that isn't coming. You don't need motivation. What you need is resolve. Resolve to stand up, take that first step, and keep moving even when you stumble. When you force yourself to get it done, you're not just accomplishing a task, you're restructuring who you are. Every time you push through resistance, you're rewiring your brain. You're telling yourself, "I am the kind of person who acts, who overcomes, who finishes what they start." And over time, that identity begins to solidify. It becomes a part of you. And that, my friends, is how you build self-respect. Think about this. The weight of inaction is far heavier than the discomfort of effort. If you avoid what needs to be done, it doesn't disappear. It festers, it grows, and it becomes a burden you carry into every moment of your life. But when you face it head on, when you force yourself to act, you liberate yourself from that weight. You create momentum. You create progress. And let's not sugarcoat this. It's going to be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is not your enemy. In fact, it's a signal. It's the price you pay to move from where you are to where you want to be. So stop treating it as a reason to quit and start embracing it as a necessary companion on your journey. Understand this. The world is filled with unrealized potential. Millions of people are sitting on dreams, talents, and ambitions that will never see the light of day simply because they lack the courage to act. Don't let that be your story. Don't let fear, laziness, or procrastination rob you of the life you're capable of creating. Force yourself to get it done. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because it matters. Because every step forward strengthens your character, because every task completed adds to the foundation of a life you can be proud of, and because ultimately you owe it to yourself to become the best version of who you are. So get up, face the resistance, and do the work. The world doesn't hand out rewards for intention, it rewards execution. Now, go and claim what's yours. Motivation is an unreliable guide for achieving success. It ebbs and flows, often dictated by fleeting emotions, external circumstances, or even the state of the moment. Relying on it to dictate your actions is a recipe for inconsistency and unmet goals. This is because motivation, while a powerful spark, lacks the permanence needed to sustain the daily grind required for real progress. True success isn't born from fleeting bursts of enthusiasm, but from the deliberate decision to act regardless of how inspired you feel. The key is to shift your mindset from one that seeks the perfect moment to act into one that values the discipline of action itself. Ask yourself, how often have you waited for motivation, only to find that days, weeks, or even months have passed without meaningful progress? This waiting game is dangerous because it reinforces a pattern of inaction. It teaches your brain that it's acceptable to delay, to defer responsibility, and to only move forward when it feels comfortable. Over time, this habit becomes a trap, one that holds you back from achieving your potential. Instead, success demands that you develop a sense of resolve. Resolve is not about how you feel, it's about what you decide. When you adopt the mindset that action must be taken regardless of emotional readiness, you unlock a powerful force within yourself. You're no longer a slave to your moods or the unpredictable. The beauty of acting without motivation is that action often creates its own momentum. Think about how difficult it can feel to start a task when you're unmotivated. The mental resistance is immense, and the task seems insurmountable. But the moment you take that first step, whether it's writing the first sentence or sitting down to study, you'll find that the resistance begins to fade. You'll find that the resistance begins to fade. One action leads to another, and before long you've built momentum. This momentum is far more reliable than motivation because it's rooted in progress, not fleeting emotion. When you consistently act without waiting for motivation, you're also training your mind to prioritize long-term goals over short-term comfort. This shift in perspective is critical. It's easy to avoid effort when your mind is fixated on how unpleasant the moment might feel. But when you keep your focus on the broader picture, on the growth, the accomplishment, and the fulfillment that come from pushing through, you'll find that the discomfort of action pales in comparison to the rewards. This principle is especially important because life will never offer ideal circumstances for action. There will always be distractions, obstacles, and moments of doubt. If you wait for everything to align perfectly, you'll spend your life waiting. The most successful people are those who recognize that conditions are rarely perfect and act anyway. By focusing on resolve instead of motivation, you cultivate a disciplined mind, one that understands the power of consistent effort. You begin to see that motivation is a bonus, not a requirement, and you learn to trust the process rather than your emotions. In doing so, you set yourself apart from the countless others who are still waiting for inspiration to strike. Discomfort is an unavoidable aspect of life, but it is also one of its most powerful teachers. When faced with a difficult task, our instinct is often to avoid the discomfort it brings. This is natural. The human brain is wired to seek ease and minimize pain. But while comfort may feel good in the moment, it does nothing to promote growth, progress, or transformation. In fact, the very experiences we often shy away from, the challenging, uncomfortable, and even painful ones, are the ones that hold the greatest potential for shaping who we are. Discomfort is not a barrier, it is a signal. It tells you that you are operating at the edge of your current capabilities, pushing beyond what is familiar and stepping into the territory where growth occurs. Consider any skill you've ever learned or any challenge you've overcome, whether it was learning to ride a bike, speaking in public, or mastering a difficult subject. There was always a period of struggle and discomfort. That struggle wasn't a sign that you were failing, it was proof that you were stretching yourself, expanding your limits, and preparing to achieve something greater. The problem arises when discomfort is seen as an enemy rather than an ally. Many people interpret the presence of discomfort as a reason to stop, as if it's a sign that they're on the wrong path. This mindset is deeply limiting. It trains you to retreat at the first sign of difficulty, reinforcing avoidance behaviors that keep you trapped in your comfort zone. But comfort zones, while safe and predictable, are not where progress happens. Staying within them ensures stagnation, while stepping out of them opens the door to opportunity. Reframing discomfort as a natural and necessary part of growth is a game changer. Instead of dreading the challenges ahead, you begin to embrace them. You understand that the discomfort of effort is temporary, but the benefits it brings are lasting. It is in these moments of resistance that you forge resilience. Each time you choose to face discomfort rather than flee from it, you strengthen your ability to endure and overcome. Over time, this builds confidence, not the superficial kind that comes from external validation, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you've faced adversity and come out stronger. Another critical aspect of embracing discomfort is recognizing that it often precedes mastery. When you start something new, whether it's a skill, a habit, or a challenge, it's natural to feel clumsy and out of place. This initial discomfort can be discouraging, but it's a vital part of the learning process. No one achieves excellence without first enduring the awkwardness and frustration that come with beginning. By pushing through these initial stages, you set yourself up for success that would otherwise remain out of reach. Ultimately, discomfort is a price worth paying. It's the cost of self-improvement, the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. By learning to face discomfort head-on and reframe it as a positive force, you unlock your potential and build a foundation for long-term growth. Remember, growth never feels comfortable in the moment, but it is always worth it in the end. Identity is not something you're born with, nor is it something that is fixed or predetermined. It is something you shape moment by moment through your actions. Every decision you make, every task you complete, and every challenge you face contributes to the story you tell yourself about who you are. This is why your actions carry so much weight. They don't just influence your external achievements, they fundamentally shape your internal sense of self. When you consistently push yourself to follow through on your commitments, even when it's difficult, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are someone who can be relied upon, someone who finishes what they start, and someone who values progress over comfort. This is how you build a positive self-identity. It's not through grand declarations or lofty goals. It's through the small, often unglamorous choices you make every single day. On the other hand, inaction or inconsistency also sends a message. When you repeatedly avoid challenges or abandon tasks halfway, you reinforce a narrative of doubt and unreliability. You begin to see yourself as someone who can't follow through, who quits when things get tough, or who lacks the discipline to achieve their goals. Over time, this identity can become self-fulfilling, trapping you in a cycle of hesitation and underachievement. The good news is that identity is not static. It's always in flux, always responding to what you do. This means you have the power to reshape it at any time by choosing to act, by forcing yourself to get things done. Even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient, you begin to rewrite the narrative. Each small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is a step toward building a stronger, more capable version of yourself. This is why consistency is so critical. It's not about perfection or achieving massive results overnight. It's about showing up day after day and doing the work. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, even when the progress seems slow or invisible, those efforts compound. They accumulate, not just in the form of external results, but in the form of a more resilient and confident self. Moreover, this process creates a positive feedback loop. When you start to see yourself as someone who takes action and follows through, it becomes easier to continue doing so. You trust yourself more. You're less likely to procrastinate or second guess your abilities because you've built a track record of success that reinforces your belief in your capabilities. And you think of identity as a muscle. The more you exercise it through deliberate action, the stronger it becomes. And just like with physical exercise, the results don't appear instantly. But with time, effort, and consistency, you'll begin to notice the transformation not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. In the end, the person you become is determined by what you repeatedly do. Your actions are the foundation of your identity. By taking control of your actions, you take control of who you are and who you are capable of becoming. Inaction often feels like a harmless choice, an easy way to delay discomfort or avoid immediate effort. But the truth is that inaction carries a cost one far greater than the temporary discomfort of taking action. When you avoid doing what needs to be done, the task doesn't disappear. Instead, it lingers in your mind, growing heavier and more burdensome over time. This mental weight is one of the most significant and insidious consequences of inaction, and it can undermine your sense of clarity, confidence, and control. Procrastination is rarely as simple as waiting for the right moment. It's often driven by fear of failure, fear of the effort required, or fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. However, avoiding action doesn't eliminate these fears, it amplifies them. The longer you wait, the more daunting the task becomes. You begin to overthink, building the challenge up in your mind until it feels nearly insurmountable. This cycle not only stalls progress, but also chips away at your belief in your ability to handle challenges. On the other hand, when you choose to act even in small ways, you interrupt this cycle. Action creates clarity. It shifts your focus from the overwhelming idea of a task to the manageable steps required to complete it. By taking the first step, you begin to strip the task of its power to intimidate you. You gain momentum, and with each subsequent step, the weight of the task diminishes. This momentum is what turns a seemingly impossible challenge into a series of achievable actions. It's also important to recognize the emotional toll of inaction. When you leave tasks undone, they don't just sit idle, they occupy mental and emotional space. They become a source of stress and guilt, quietly reminding you of what you haven't accomplished. This background noise can drain your energy and focus, making it harder to fully engage with other aspects of your life. In contrast, taking action, even on a small scale, can free up this mental space, giving you a sense of relief and accomplishment that carries over into other areas. Another critical aspect of inaction is its impact on self-trust. Every time you put off a task or avoid a challenge, you weaken your belief in your own reliability. You begin to question whether you can count on yourself to follow through. And this doubt can seep into other areas of your life. Conversely, when you take action, even when it's difficult, you strengthen your trust in yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable, disciplined, and resilient. This trust becomes a foundation for greater confidence and a willingness to take on even bigger challenges. Ultimately, the cost of inaction isn't just the loss of time, it's the accumulation of stress, self-doubt, and missed opportunities. By choosing to act, you not only make progress, but also reclaim control over your life. You liberate yourself from the weight of procrastination and build the habits and mindset needed for long-term success. Action, no matter how small, is always the better choice because it moves you forward, while inaction only holds you back. Success is never a result of good intentions alone. While having dreams and ambitions is essential, they mean little without the action to back them up. Execution is the real measure of progress and achievement. The world doesn't reward those who merely think about what they want to accomplish. It rewards those who do the work. This fundamental truth separates those who achieve meaningful results from those who remain stuck in a cycle of wishful thinking and unfulfilled potential. Intentions, no matter how noble or ambitious, lacks substance without action. You can spend hours planning, imagining, or even talking about your goals, but none of it matters unless you take tangible steps forward. Planning and dreaming are often safe and comfortable. They exist in a space free from failure or rejection. Execution, however, takes courage. It requires you to step into the unknown, face resistance, and risk making mistakes. This is why so many people remain trapped in the realm of intention. They are unwilling to confront the discomfort and uncertainty that come with action. But here's the thing, the act of doing, even imperfectly, creates opportunities that intention alone cannot. When you execute, you engage with the real world. You learn, you adapt, and you grow. The stakes, far from being setbacks, become valuable lessons. Each failure teaches you something new and pushes you closer to mastery. On the other hand, inaction ensures that your goals remain nothing more than abstract ideas, untouched by the transformative power of experience. Execution also creates momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. The hardest part of any endeavor is often just starting. Once you take the first step and follow through, you build confidence and energy that propel you forward. Even small wins can have a compounding effect, motivating you to keep going and tackle larger challenges. This sense of progress fuels your determination and strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. Another critical aspect of execution is accountability. When you take action, you hold yourself to a higher standard. You are no longer hiding behind excuses or delays. You are stepping up and taking responsibility for your goals. This accountability reinforces discipline and cultivates a mindset of ownership. You stop relying on external factors like luck or ideal circumstances and instead focus on what you can control, your effort and your actions. The world is filled with people who have great ideas, but few follow through. This is what sets achievers apart. They understand that the gap between intention and success is bridged by consistent, disciplined execution. They don't wait for perfect conditions or endless streams of motivation. They act because they know that action is the only way forward. In the end, execution is what brings your goals to life. It's the difference between wishing for success and earning it. When you make execution your priority, you take control of your destiny. You transform your ambitions into reality, one step at a time, proving that success is not reserved for the most talented or the most fortunate, belongs to those who are willing to act.